Hello everyone, this is Saravanan J. Bharati from Carbon Figure Academy. In this video, we'll be talking about the most important aspect of life cycle assessment, that is data quality ensuring or data quality assessment. So what it is and how it is being done in case of openLCA. That is what we are going to see in this video along with some simple example. So data quality assessment is the systematic evaluation of LCA data, both foreground data and background data, based on predefined criterions such as reliability, temporal and geographical representativeness, completeness, precision, and methodological appropriateness, just to determine its suitability for use in decision making. So here a simple visual representation has been provided for how a data quality assessment criterion and scoring would look like. So there are certain fundamental criterions which would be commonly preferred for this data quality assessment. Let us see what they are. First criterion, reliability. So it shows how trustworthy is the data source. For example, a company's energy use measured by smart meters, where it will be very high reliable, versus a guess based on similar products, where the reliability reduces. So in case of a measured data from a verified industrial plant, the reliability is so high, whereas the data comes from a rough internet search or some expert assumption means, then the reliability is low. The next criterion is temporal representativeness. Is the data up to date for your study year? So for example, using 2023 electricity mix data for a 2024 product study. So for temporal representativeness, the example is using 2023 electricity mix data for a 2024 product study, where the temporal representativeness is good, versus using 2015 data when technologies have changed for 2024 study means, then your temporal representativeness is very poor. So when it is good, data from within 2 to 4 years of the reference year. For example, if you are doing your data collection for your product LCA for 2024 means, the data should be at least within that 2 to 4 years from back from 2024, which means it could be from 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020. Worst case, right? So not more than 4 years. If it is very poor means, then the data is quite older than even 8 years, right? The next criterion is geographical representativeness. Does the data match the region you are assessing? So here in these criterions based examples, I include both foreground data and background data. The first two examples talks about foreground data. Here the third criterion, the example, talks about background data, right? So does the data match the region you are assessing? So for example, using European grid electricity data for a product made in India versus using Indian grid data. So when it is good, data from the same country or region as the product's production. When it is poor, data from a completely different continent with very different energy sources would be very poor. The next criterion, completeness. Does the data cover all relevant processes? Right. So the example is a battery data set that includes mining, manufacturing and transport seems to be so complete, versus only manufacturing impact only it is including means, then it is incomplete. So when a data set covers more than 80% of the life cycle stages and market share, then it is good, right? Only one step or very limited life cycle stages are covered means, then they are very poor data sets. They are incomplete. For example, I would like to quote here. Recently, I done one LCA where I needed to choose a background data set for fuel consumption in the manufacturing process. The particular location was Gulf region, where for fuel the location based, which means the region specific data set was available. But what happened, what I did as a mistake, I chose the extraction and production of petroleum, right? So so I felt choosing that background set data set for the particular country would be the better choice, would be the best choice even. But when that LCA goes to the verifier, the verifier insists me, okay, this particular data set is not complete. You included only production impact. You did not include the combustion impact of that fuel. So that was the moment I realized, yes, my background data set is not complete. Then I chosen some other data set. Unfortunately, that becomes completely proxy, but still to satisfy the completeness criteria, so I needed to go with that choice, right? If I go with that geographical specific data set, the geographical representativeness might be good, but still the complete impact from the production as well as the combustion would have not been addressed, right? So that's a quite example scenario where you really needed to prefer certain criterions over the other for the benefit of considering the complete impact of your manufacturing process. So the next criterion is precision. How exact is the value? So this is again talks about foreground data. For example, a reported energy use, you say it is 2.5 kilowatt hour, very precise, versus about if you mention 2 to 3 kilowatt hour. So between 2 to 3, lots of possibilities are there, right? So then it would be very poor precision. So if it is measured, calculated and reviewed, means that's a good precision in place. Whereas if it is estimated without basis or known flaws, then it is a badly precisioned, right? So these are all the typical set of data quality criterions which would be usually preferred in across different sources. For example, Ecoinvent EN 15804 we can find, right? So I would show the respective things. So here it's that data quality assessment criterions which is captured from Ecoinvent, right? So the indicators are reliability, completeness, temporal correlation, geographical correlation and further technological correlation, whereas the scores have been provided as 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. As the color of the score indicates, if it is score, it is very good. If it is 5, it is very poor, right? So for the instance, for a data to be qualified as 100% or very good reliable, that has to be a verified data based on measurements. So in simple terms, if you are having a foreground data measurement for a production, then it has to be come from a verified auditing process, right? That's what it is mentioning. For the instance, what would happen when a product manufacturer wants to go for a LCA or EPD for their product? The data collection phase will be there, and mostly the production people who involved in coordinating all those production related stuff would get that data collection template and will fill that, right? So it is from the records, but what it is indicating to be more reliable, that the data has to be verified based on measurements, means yes, okay, you have some logs, or if you have some entries, manual entries or digitally recorded numbers, but that has to be verified before letting it to be passed on to the LCA practitioner for the purpose of LCA modeling, right? So that particular activity makes your number reliable, highly reliable. So then the data quality indicator for your reliability would become 1. But normally what happens, they just forward whatever is available for that particular year as a record, in-house record, right? In case for that particular year that company went for some auditing and the verification was done, and at the end of that year if you are sharing that number, then somehow it is fine, right? At least within that year, once that auditing was done, so that the data still can be called as a verified one, right? So likewise, for each of the criterion, we will have different kind of situation and existence regarding their the different criterion stages, and accordingly they will get some scoring, right? So by giving different kind of score based on different criterion to each of the data that we model into our LCA, then we can come up with some overall data quality for our available data, right? So when we especially declare these in our LCA reports, so we need to deal them separately, foreground data and background data. Okay, these are the foreground data and these are all the data quality declarations, right? Qualitatively, right? So there is no kind of a calculation or kind of thing, but still qualitatively you should declare them, right? But still from this data quality assessment criterions, we can come up with some kind of quantitative assessment also, if you are following number based scoring, like value based scoring. If you are following some qualitative notation based scoring, then there won't be any number coming. Again, it would be finally qualitatively judged, right? So here is a simple example. So that this kind of table, normally how it is called, it's called pedigree matrix approach in case of data quality assessment. There may be lot of other methods, but in case of LCA software, or in LCA context, even in the ecosystem of EPD development, this pedigree matrix approach is being preferably followed, right? So how it works? Score data quality. So assign scores 1 to 5 to data sources based on criteria such as reliability, completeness, temporal geographical representativeness, precision and methodological appropriateness. So if it is reliability, means high score 1 gives highly reliable data, that is verified measurements. For the case of temporal representativeness, if the score is 4, then the data older than 6 years relative to reference year. For geographical representativeness, the score reflects how well the data matches the region of interest, whereas the completeness reflects coverage of relevant processes or market share. In case of precision, it indicates whether data is measured, calculated or estimated. Finally, the methodological appropriateness assesses if the data collection method is suitable for the purpose. So then you go for interpretation. Use the pedigree matrix to interpret each criterion score, determining the overall data quality level, for example as very good, good, fair, poor or very poor. So in the right hand side there is a box. There you can see if the score 1 means for that particular data, for that particular criterion, that implies it's a very good. If it is score 2, it is good. If it is score 3, it is fair. If it is scoring 4, then it is poor. Then for the score 5, it will be very poor. So after interpreting the score, you go for the evaluation. Determine whether the data is acceptable for use, or if it requires improvement, substitution or any other exclusion, right? So document the quality finally. Record the pedigree scores and justifications in metadata to support transparency and traceability. So here is the example we can say. So there is a value, there is a data. To be specific, a foreground data. Battery charging energy as 2.5 kilowatt hour. So for this number, here comes the pedigree scores. So you can see reliability. So it is a random example, random scoring. So there is no need to look into much. So for this number, the particular LCA practitioner provides reliability as 3. So because based on the meaning of the reliability, he assigns 3. Maybe the number 2.5 might not be directly verified and measured, might be from some unaudited data, right? So the particular LCA practitioner gave 3 as a score, right? So moderate, reviewed but not verified. So for the temporal representativeness, that the score was given as 4 because the data is 5 years old, right? So for the geographical representativeness, only 2 has been provided. Actually 2 has been provided. So well representativeness for the given region. Okay, fine. So then for completeness, the score given was 3 because that covers more than 50% of the market, but still it lacks some complete coverage, right? Then precision again 3, it's calculated, plausibility has been checked. Then methodological appropriateness 2 because a suitable method and minor limitations was observed, right? So how these scoring for different criterions comes out as the final scoring for the battery charging energy 2.5 kilowatt hour. So how the overall data quality rating came up? Fair. So how that fair came up? So here in the right side there is a description or breakdown. So for each of the criterion, what was the score? So reliability 3, temporal 2, 4, geographical 2, completeness 3, precision 3, methodological appropriateness 2. So for each of the number, the quality level has been mentioned. So then you should come up with your own establishment. Okay, so if you want to declare the overall data quality for data as very good, this kind of requirement should be satisfied. Likewise, I establish a predefined threshold or benchmark. So by assessing based on that, I come up with the final data quality. So this is how it may look like, the benchmark or some pre-establishment. So very good means all criteria are scoring more than 1 or mostly 1 to 2 with no major weaknesses. If the score good means, it should mean most criteria are 1 and 2 with only minor weaknesses, right? If it is fair, some criteria are weak and no single criterion is very poor, right? But the data has some notable limitations. So now if you notice, our given example has come up with that kind of status only. So there is no very poor. So we can see that 3 is majorly available for out of 6, 3 criterion scored 3. So finally what they are coming to the conclusion, overall data quality rating is fair, right? So this is how data quality assessment is being carried out. So in case of openLCA, let us do a simple kind of demonstration how the data quality assessment is done and how it will come for the final result also, the impact indicator results also, right? So it is getting loaded. So in case of openLCA, if you are having a EcoInvent database or any other database, sometimes the database will come along with some predefined data quality pedigree matrix. If not, in openLCA you can create your own also based on your own criterion, or you can simply follow that any standard given data quality matrix. For example, so let me show it here. Let me show the data quality matrix given for given by EcoInvent, right? Okay, so where we will see that indicators and parameters, you can see data quality systems at the bottom, right? So Siroth, Muller, Lesage and echo invent data quality system. That our QC was, I created it so for some training purpose. Okay, so if you just open that Siroth Muller, both also look almost similar. Can you see that? These are the criterions and the respective score, and for each of the score, that is the description to be met, right? So likewise, right? So with respect to each of the criterion and scoring, the uncertainties are also established. So this numbers will be used to go for uncertainty analysis, right? That's a separate stuff, right? So if you open the data quality systems from echo invent, that's also looks similar, right? But here that uncertainty is quite low, whereas in case of this Siroth Muller, the uncertainty at scoring 5 is very huge, right? Can you see that? Right. So this is like the matrix is predefined and pre-available along with the database, right? In case if the database does not come with the data quality system, then how you can create? Same way, right click, new data quality system, you just provide the name, and okay, you can check a system defines uncertainties, and if you don't check, you can give the uncertainties. Okay, let's follow system defines uncertainties, right? Okay, so here it's empty, right? Can you see the difference? In echo invent, the boxes are already there, whereas in the newly created system we have to add. So add indicator, so indicator 1, add score. So you can go with 3-point scale or 5-point scale or 7-point scale, so depending on whatever the attempt that you want to make, right? So add indicator, likewise indicators also you can decide how many number of indicators you want. So what I presented, that 5 indicators quality criterions are commonly preferred, right? So in case for your customized study based on the nature and kind of situation that you deal with, you can come up with your own kind of criterions, right? So sometimes your data quality assessment would be so broad, so you can follow the same typical criterion list. Sometimes your data quality perspective or data quality assessment perspective would be very specific and limited with some boundaries, means accordingly you can come up with your own data quality criterions, and accordingly for each of the scoring, how you would like to want to define it. Okay, for this established criterion so and so, I want to give maximum mark if it is satisfying this kind of description. So accordingly you can make it, right? So add score, so 3. So if you can keep with the 3 indicators with 3 levels, or 3 indicators with 5 levels, so you can keep on adding. Can you see that it is just going, right? So I don't know how far it will go. So accordingly the goodness is getting spreaded, right? So that's what you should understand, right? So that's how once it is done, right? So we mentioned that uncertainties would be calculated by the system itself, right? I don't know why it is so empty. Let us put some sample stuff from echo invent so that we can check. Right. Yeah, nothing happens with the uncertainties. Maybe, right? So uncertainty part you don't need to worry about right now. We will make a separate video on that, right? So this is all about the data quality indicators. So this is how you can create, and while you are going for the process, any particular modeling. For the instance, let me see this one. Some product raw material stage is been there. Okay, so these are all the inputs. So I have 3 inputs. Okay, filter cake, propane, stearic acid, right? So what we should do in the first page, the general information segment, at the bottom you will have the entries for data quality. So process schema, flow schema, right? So here if you just click, you will see all the available data quality systems. So in case if the Eco-N1 stuff is not there, what you just created will show up there and you can choose that, right? So now we want to go with the Eco-N1 thing and data quality entry. So this is for the entire overall process here. So for just I'm just putting it, right, 11111, or you can make it average stuff. Okay, right. So then flow schema, again I am selecting that Eco-N1 thing, and social schema, since we don't do social LCA right now, anyhow we just establish there, right? So in the input, when you add any data, you will have the option right here, data quality entry. So initially when you do, so based on the number that you have, for the instance here we have filter cake from sugarcane industry 0.01000 kg. That's the number, right? So that number, what you feel about with respect to these criterions, whether it is verified data, yes. What about the completeness? No, it's not a complete data. Representativeness is like some 50% only from the shares. Then temporal correlation, yes, it is a less than 3 years data, so it is scored 1. Geographical correlation, yes, it's not an exact one, but still a similar study, right, from a similar location. Further, technological correlation, completely going to the back. Data on related process or materials, right? So then you can see based on your selection that uncertainty gets changes, right? What I was choosing here, similar study, yeah, right? So just go okay. So likewise, you just need to do the same kind of thing for each of the data based on its own nature, right? So once you just do like this for all the available data, I think with respect to here also you can go with that the thing, the final output stuff, right? So you just create a product system, raw materials. You go to the raw materials product system, right? So here is the model graph, right? So 3 inputs. So now I am going to calculate the result for this. So when I click calculate, I will have the option to do the quality assessment. So here you can see assess the data quality, right? So I just click that, and method of impact calculation, I got to choose which one we shall go for. EF 3.1, right? So let us put that. So when I click assess data quality, it goes to the next page where I have to choose the process schema, right? Yeah, then finish it. So the result is getting calculated for that particular life cycle stage, that is A1, and let us see how the results are appearing with data quality. Yeah, it is getting loaded. So openLCA is like a typical old school software. So sometimes you would need to patiently wait without clicking anything. So if you do that mistake, the software may get closed. Yeah, so here comes the results along with the data quality. So we have a lot of results tabs. So I think I made a mistake. I should have opened the Excel sheet. Okay, please don't make any issue. Yeah, so here it comes finally the results with the data quality indication. So can you see that? So this is flow wise, and here it is process wise. I think for process wise there is no data quality is available, but still for the final impact analysis, so these are the indicators as per EF 3.1, and for each of them we can here see the respective results quality, right? So when you just export it in Excel, this is how it comes with. So in the initial stage, initial sheet, everything has been clearly mentioned. So the impacts comes with the what to say, the quality, right? So there has been a slip. Yeah, so now it is fine, right? So this thing you can make it as it is, and you can present it in your LCA report along with the criterion wise description, what kind of scoring you prefer, if at all, if you have created the data quality system, right? So what is the ultimate takeaway? So if there is no this number 3, 2, 1, 4 and all, if it's not here and only these result numbers are available, and what is the difference? So what is the purpose of ultimate purpose of this, the data quality? So when the reader goes through the given LCA report, that might be published in a website as a report for an entire sector, or for a kind of a new product, or sometimes the data quality, this kind of things, when it is be available for an EPD background report, that gives the enough amount of alertness for the readers, so that based on these numbers they will decide, okay, whether these numbers are fit for our purpose to make some decision, right? So here you can see the all other criterions are fine, 3 and 2 and 1, but with respect to technology indication, it's mostly 4 and 5, right? So accordingly they can go with their own interpretations of these results, especially when they want to proceed with some decision making based on these results, right? So that is the ultimate takeaway for data quality assessment, that gives the reader some clarity whether I should take this number seriously, or how much I can go with this number in my mind as a benchmark or as a threshold for my activity, right? So especially this kind of data quality indication will give better idea when you want to compare two products especially. So I don't know how far it is available, the LCA reports of any comparable products along with the respective data quality declaration, but still when it is available, that's the kind of service it would satisfy, right? So you can easily compare, okay, same brand, same product, same volume, same material composition, almost the same system boundary, everything remains same, but what about the data quality, right? So okay, finally I can choose product A over product B, right? So for a purpose of ultimate decision making, this data quality declaration serves. And in case of LCA, ISO 14044 suggests to go with data quality assessment, and it's not being as like a mandatory stuff, but still when you want to go for the LCA with critical review, then it would be required, right? So it's all depend on for what kind of purpose you do the LCA, whether it is for internal purpose communication, or within your board members, or within your research team and marketing team, or if it is meant for EPD or carbon footprint studies. So depending on for what you do, the requirement on the data quality declaration would come up, right? So for the instance, in case of EPD, then the data quality declaration is very mandatory, very much mandatory. So for example, these criterions are based on eco-invent, right? So here let me show a typical data quality suggestion, data quality assessment matrix suggested by EN 15804 plus A2, right? So here lots of the things are there. The data quality thing will be at the end. So they suggest, yeah, here it is. So schemes to be applied for data quality assessment for generic and specific data. So they provide two different schemes. One is from United Nations Environmental Global Guidance. Second one is based on product environmental footprint category rules. So typically saying the second one is commonly preferred for LCA, especially EPD in European context, but still more or less a similar kind of thing from the UN based scheme also, right? So you can take this EN 15804 as a quite internationally acceptable standard. And if you are simply doing LCA, no matter what kind of communication you really intend to, if you are following these kind of high grade standards, then your data quality assessment and respective outcomes would be gauged so credible, right? So that's the session for you, the data quality assessment. Thank you.